back to goals versus resolutions. What is it that I want to accomplish? Doesn't have to have a start and an end. Maybe it's just a new habit. Maybe it's we're pivoting to a different thing. Maybe it's just I want to create a new, different version of my lifestyle or myself.
Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I am your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Coralyn, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. I haven't hosted in a minute, and I'm really excited about this one because this is the new year, and I've come up with a mantra of my own, and I have requested that Coralyn and Jessica come up with one as well. If you have not already, please subscribe and like and share us on all of your social media. You can find us on all the regular places that you watch podcasts and or listen to them. Our website is leadlikeagirllab.com. We have a new awesome marketing person who's been putting out a lot of content for us, and it's really great. It's really entertaining. She's been doing a really nice job. I'm absolutely loving all the things that she's putting out. How about you guys? Do you love it?
Yes.
It's nice. Well, you know, we're heading down a strategic pathway, and I really like that it's, I mean, not that we haven't been strategic before, but it's like a phase 2, phase 3 step for our podcast, which is fun.
Right. So subscribe and share. Support us.
Thank you.
Yes.
What
she said.
All of it. So this might not be airing exactly right after the new year, but it's close to that time for us when we're recording this. And one of the things that Jessica doesn't like resolutions, and not everyone does resolutions, and that's absolutely fine. I don't necessarily do that either. But, you know, in the spirit of coming up with new goals and just that kind of fresh, I'll say quote unquote, fresh start energy, I wanted to talk a little bit about how we start the new year and some of the things that we can focus on in terms of goals. And so the first question, the first minute fast question I have for you guys is, and now I have a mantra that I love, and it is
it a new mantra like you came up for this year, or is it like this is like what you live by day in, day out? This is like a new year, new me. This is Jamie's thing.
This has been something for years and years and years. And I always go back to it. It's remember back at the company, Coralyn, that we had the same quote on our bulletin board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So RWE.
Yep. It's on your signature. I know. I see it every time you email me. It's something that I just constantly go back to, and it's a really good reminder. And it is, I might not be there yet, but I'm closer than I was yesterday.
Oh, that's not the same thing I was thinking. I thought you were talking about.
No. Yes, you're right. You know the one that we had the same. But
the world belongs to the energetic.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. But this is the one that I have that's just mine, that I always go back to, because I think to myself, like, I might not be there, I might not be at my goal, but I'm a little bit closer. Like I'm trying to hit it. I've, you know, and each year I have different goals and that sort of thing. And so that's my mantra, and that's the thing that I'm constantly reminding myself of. So my question to you guys earlier today was, what is yours? Do you have one? Do you have a mantra that you like remind yourself of each day?
So I do like to, I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I love doing vision boards with my family. Mm-hmm. Sometimes this year it's definitely going to be late, but we're going to do one, and they're so powerful. And I like to look, and I just thought about this fast. When I think about this year and when I think about a mantra for the upcoming year, it's going to have something to do with just being very intentional about not only what I'm paid to do, but what I'm made to do. So that would be my mantra. I'll make it sound better than that at some point, but that's just what came to me because that's been a reoccurring theme for my year. And I think that's kind of what really, I've always been very laser focused on what I'm paid to do. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it has put me in a position where sometimes I not forget, but sometimes I don't focus enough on what I'm made to do.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I don't honestly, guys, I don't have a mantra per se. In fact, when you said, "What's your mantra?" I consulted my assistant to ask like like how do you define a mantra? Okay, so ChatGPT said first what a mantra actually is a short repeatable statement that anchors how you think, decide and act, and then a couple things she said was grounds you in when things get busy or messy, helps you guide decisions when there are multiple good options, reconnects you to your why you do what you do. So I mean, I think that that's when you said the word mantra, that's where my head went, but I don't necessarily have something down. But I will say a couple things. And so I actually asked her to tell me what my mantra was.
You asked ChatGPT to tell. Awesome.
Well, based on, so again, prompting, I'm like, one of my goals for 2026 is to become a like super proficient, expert level, even in how I can use AI tools to my benefit. So that is like one of the things I want to do this year. I've been working on it towards the end of this year, but really kind of double down on that. But so kind of thinking about like, I don't want to take the things that they say, she says verbatim, but
Right.
like get you going in the right. So all this to say is that my mantra, I've been working with a kind of an executive coach, and something that he had said to me that's resonated is that Coralyn, you have a lot of good ideas, but like, what are your God ideas and which are different, right? And so I have been trying to send the things that I come up that I think about, the things that I am passionate about. Like can get on the bus with a lot of different things. I'm like to champion people, like to champion myself. So what are the good ideas? And that's a great place to start. But second level thinking is what are those God ideas? And so kind of along the same line of you, Jess, is that, it's a lot of things I can be doing, but what are the things that God has for me? And
Yeah.
where do I need to really spend and focus my time on
Yeah.
those things? So
I love it. You guys have kind of the similarities in your two mantras. I honestly I challenge anybody to come up with something. Like I love the Chat GPT description of what that means, but truly I think that for myself and I think others probably as well is like just to have a statement that you can go back to, and it does help you feel a bit grounded. It helps you kind of like refocus. If you come up with something, it doesn't have to be the first of the year, but like you come up with something that's like, okay, where is my focus? Like, what is my goal for myself and my life and my family, whatever it is? Like, what is that? And can I remind myself of that? And it's that short one sentence,
Yeah.
something you can repeat to yourself that's quick and easy. When I started thinking about this, I was thinking about the difference between goals and resolutions, because again, the new year, a lot of times people are trying to come up with, new year, new me. And I've got to, I've got to come up with this new thing I've got to do. I was trying to think of what's the 75 hard or whatever. And I was trying to think of what that was called, and I called it like top 90. What's it called? I couldn't think of what it was called, but I started kind of going down that path and realized that, you don't have to wait till the new year to
Right.
start that. You don't have to wait till Monday, right? To
That's
start
right.
that. You don't have to wait till what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
no one has to wait until this day. Or if it's Monday morning when you start the new habit, it's not like, okay, I'm going to just eat everything in the house every minute until Monday morning starts or whatever. You don't have to wait, right?
I kind
Yeah.
of find, don't you think that, I don't know, in all the years of setting resolutions or like this is going to start on this day, I almost think that that is a little bit of setting yourself up to
Yes.
not win.
Yeah.
because, and I just want to, and I do, so it sounds like you guys agree with me, and I haven't really put a lot of thought to it, but it seems to me when I do those things, because when you have a definitive start, there needs to be a definitive end.
Right.
So when you're trying to go through all these different things and change you, it's not because you want to change for a moment. You want to change for a lifetime. So when you say I'm going to start this, then at some point there's going to be an end, whether you meet that goal and then that's your natural end, or it
Mhm.
just fizzles, or whatever the case may be, that it's not in your head as a lifestyle. It's a goal, and goals are good, but sometimes goals have a finite period of time, and that's not long-term success, right? Like if it
Yeah.
doesn't stick, then what did you do it for in the first place? Kind of
Yeah.
a little bit, not all across the board, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because I have actually some goal setting styles
oh,
that
nice.
I've researched. That's a perfect segue.
Give it
Love
to us then.
I got it. I got it. So I looked into this a little bit. Honestly, anyone listening, Coralyn did not, that was not prompted. That is very good. That's a really good segue, though. So this is something, again, getting back to goals versus resolutions. What is it that I want to accomplish? Doesn't have to have a start and an end. Maybe it's just a new habit. Maybe it's we're pivoting to a different thing. Maybe it's just like I want to create a new or different version of my lifestyle or myself. These are a few things that are alternative goal setting styles. So I'm going to introduce you guys to these. The first one is word of the year. So basically coming up with exactly what it sounds like, coming up with what is the word, kind of like that mantra, but
Yeah.
coming up with what is this word. And to come up with the word of the year, here are the suggestions, and please jump in with what your observations are here. The suggestions are, just like reflect on the past year,
Mm-hmm.
think about this year, think about all those words that come into your head. Maybe you write them down on a piece of paper or your whiteboard or your vision board, cull the words that you don't want, figure out which word really like jumps out at you, and then pick it and make it visual. Write it down, put it on a post-it, write it on your mirror in your bathroom.
Yeah.
But create your idea of what is your word of the year.
I love
Maybe that's balance, maybe it's courage, maybe it's consistency. It doesn't have to be measurable.
Yeah.
It's just what is your word? What do you
Yeah.
guys think about that? Do you think that's something that's pretty I mean, I feel like I think that might be a bit difficult for some people. I think it might be difficult for me. But how do you guys feel about that? Or what do you think about that, I guess?
I'm glad to find out that that's actually a strategy because I do that anyway. And I thought that I made that up. So it's so wonderful. Last year it was intentionality. And so, but I like what you said. And I definitely am all about the dry erase boards. They're all over my house. I have actually two in my office. And when you were saying that, I was imagining I have a really, really big one that has wheels and I just wheel it all around. And so I was
Love
just
that.
myself like,
Jessica's entire house is a boardroom, and that is equally exciting and terrifying in the same.
seriously, I'm going to take a picture of it and send it to you guys in our group chat. And you're going to be like, what the hell does all this mean? But I like the fact of what you just said, and that is going through that because I've done this before too, where I'm journaling and I'm thinking about all. So sometimes you ever feel like, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. And I'll go in my closet and I'll just write down every word that comes to my head. And sometimes they're good words and sometimes they're bad words, but I just write them all down. And then afterwards, I will like look at all of them and you'll actually get meaning from it. And you're like, this is what I'm feeling. I learned that actually when I was getting my master's in psychology and study that I was doing a paper on. So, and I've used that ever since. Same thing that you're saying, reflect on the year, write down all these words, and then come up with one word for the year. And that word, I just love that. Put it up in your bathroom, sticky note, whiteboard, everywhere. Look at it, read it every single day. And I think it's definitely going to lead into all kind of things.
We actually have done that a couple of times corporately. And so for those of you that lead some sort of culture experience, we kicked it out at the beginning of the year for our company to sound off on what their words of the day. And so the couple years that we did this is we set out the prompt and had people like get us back like within the week or so. And then I took everybody's words that they gave us and made kind of a word collage of
Oh
those
my gosh, I
things.
love that. Yeah.
You know, honestly, it sounds more robust than it is. There was an app that I found, like you could just type in all the words. This word showed up 17 times. It was big. This showed up once. It's a small. So, but it was like a really good thing because a lot of the times that people, you have your word and you're like, okay, this means a lot to me. But then other people either have the same word, but maybe a little bit different meaning, or a completely different word. Like, oh, I wonder, like you kind of, and so it prompted some conversation. Like, why did you pick intentionality, or why did you pick this like random word? But I think that trying to nail it down to one word it's hard because you're like, okay, this is the thing that I want to
Yeah.
focus on this year. And it can get you thinking on the past and the past and how that moves forward. But it's a good exercise to weed through your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know I've had times where I've written, you're enough, or different things where I've put it on a Post-it and stuck it on the bathroom mirror, for the kids or myself or whatever, just as that daily reminder. But I think this is just taking it that step further of what is that? What is that word that I want to center my goals around? So the next alternative goal setting style is theme-based goals. So this is something that is not measurable. These are things like setting up a goal that's like health, creativity, relationships, something that's not numbers.
Yeah.
So it's a theme. And that might be something. So for example, let's say it's health. It might not be something like, I'm going to lower my blood pressure from this to this. It's more like, I generally want to focus on my health. So I'm going to create some different habits, and maybe that's what I eat, how many times I exercise, whatever like that. But it's like a theme instead of a measurable activity. Just a different way to set a goal where you're not setting yourself up for disappointment or failure if you don't hit that number.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts about that?
I think when I'm thinking about
it's a little harder to do, right?
Well, when I'm thinking about my vision board, because I usually like to have like things on my vision board that have to do with finances and have to do with my health and have to do with, so a little bit of everything. So I was thinking like, how could I still do that? Because I think all of those areas are important to have goals, but it could still be theme based. And what I mean by that is, so for me, mine is very heavily focused on faith. And so maybe it's, when you think of your health, when you think of your finances, when you think of your career or your calling, like what does, God say about all of those things? So that theme could be, how does God see this? What is it from his perspective versus seeing it from my perspective? So that's what just came to me when you said that. So thank you, because you were putting this together. I do not have an executive coach. So thank you so much, Jamie.
I thought that's what we are. Aren't we kind of just like, and I kind of went the opposite way. For somebody who doesn't like to do resolutions, like I don't want to, if you're somebody who just completely writes off, it doesn't matter. Having a theme-based goal could be a first step or a step in that direction. Just saying, hey, I want to do this broad picture, big high level idea, where you probably throughout the year will probably ease into like a little bit more specific goals. But even just focusing your attention, like, hey, I was going down this pathway over here. I'm pivoting into this way, where it's like, okay, I'm going to be focused on this. So then some of those, all the other decisions that you make, you kind of run through that filter. Like if it's health, then okay, well, if I was going down this pathway, now I want to change here. How does that fit into my big picture goal of wanting to focus on my health better?
Yeah. Well, and I think that alternative way of goal setting, or that alternative style, is really good for folks that might be just a little afraid of like getting disappointed. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like, I was looking back at my Facebook memories. So every single morning I wake up and I look at my Facebook memories, and it's like the first thing I do.
Maybe that's
So I came up with this. No, I was looking back at like I think it was 2020, and my goal for 2020 was 500 miles that year. So I was like, I biked, I ran, I walked, I did cartwheels, I whatever. I wanted to get 500 miles in 2020, and or whatever the year was, and so it's measurable, it's this and that. But I was thinking like, not everybody wants to commit to a measurable goal. It's kind of daunting, right? So if you can commit to just something that's a theme-based goal, like maybe your goal is just I'm going to start every day with a positive attitude. It's not measurable.
It'd be behavior based. That's I love things behavior based. I tell my kids this all the time. It's like you got to see it. I got to see a change of behavior. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to save this amount of money. Maybe it's just that you just need to not spend everything.
Right. Right. It's a different style. And I think, coming up with some different style that works for you is the most important thing. This next one is probably, I'm geeked out, excited about this one. It's called habit stacking. So this is small actions instead of big promises. So it was developed from a man named James Clear. Had we recorded at the normal time, I could have given you much more information on who James Clear is. However, we are recording early. It's the method of stacking a new behavior on top of an old one. So this is creating new habits. So what you'll do is you choose an action that you normally do. Then you pick a new desirable habit and you create the stack. So it's essentially like, after I do this, I'm going to do this. And then you practice it until it's automatic. So let's say you want to get in the habit of, flossing your teeth, whatever. So every single morning you wake up and you drink a cup of coffee. So that's your habit. You get up, you drink your cup of coffee, and you say to yourself, okay, every day after I drink coffee, I'm going to go brush my teeth and floss my teeth. That's the next stack, or the next step. And then after that, you say to yourself, okay, after I do that, I'm going to drink 16 ounces of water, because maybe that's the next habit you'd like to create. And so by doing that, you're stacking up these habits that are desirable things that you want to do. And after you start doing these things every day or over and over, then that becomes automatic. And then that's how you create, 21 days to create a habit. So that's how you create these new habits. I know that sounds like such a simple concept, but laying it out that way is like, yes, do that.
No, that's good. And not just that. So I've been helping someone who's on her weight loss journey. And this reminded me of that, because I said to her, when you're trying to do new things, you have to make it as easy as possible. And you have to build your habits around your already habits.
Yes, exactly.
And I said to her, so for example, like if I say to you, I want you to start drinking water first thing in the morning, where's the first place that you go in the morning? And she's like, to the bathroom. And I said, yes. So some people might call me a weirdo, but instead of like cute little bath soaps around my tub, I have this giant basket full of these little bottles of water. And that basket I keep refilling it because I want to start drinking water as soon as I wake up. And I've made it easier for myself to do that because I've conveniently placed, and not just a bottle of water, because 16 ounces might seem a lot, but a little 8-ounce bottle like this. So it's building these. And she came back like 2 days later and was like, why the heck did I not think of this? And I was like,
that's a great idea.
Right?
I love it.
It's great.
So I'm like, everything for me is about systems, habits, and mind games. And that's how I just create a bunch of those things and around everything that I want to do. And that just reminded me of that.
Yeah. You've in the last several years have gotten me on a water kick. And I do the same thing when I'm sitting at my desk at work, and I have committed to drinking 120 ounces of water a day, which is a chore. It's a lot of water. But I, again, play a game with myself that I cannot go to the bathroom until this water is done, literally. So I'm sitting there, like my knee is going, like everything's happening. I get up and I'm literally standing outside of the bathroom door, chugging this water. And some of my colleagues think I'm freaking nuts. But and then when I'm done, when I go fill up my water, slam a glass of water before so I bring that next one. So it's just like it's this constant thing. Like I just set up these rules of engagement. The other
Yes.
thing that made me think of is I actually listened to James Clear getting interviewed on a podcast, and he had said something
Oh,
that
thank you. Can you fill me in on who James Clear is? Because this
Atomic Habits. He wrote the book Atomic Habits. Like it's so good. Yeah, so he is great. Like if you've never listened to this dude speak, like that is like a goal for 2026 to listen, like find him on a podcast, read Atomic Habits. It's really, really good. But the thing that he had said, it was a Christian podcaster, and James Clay was on as a guest, but they were talking about like people who want to get reading your Bible more often. And they were talking specifically about habit stacking. And he's like, you're already somebody who is aware of fitness. And I was always of the mindset, like, if I'm going to have spiritual time, it needs to be dedicated spiritual time. Like you're going to have like sit down and all I'm doing is reading my Bible. All I'm doing is focusing on the thing. And he said, and they were talking about how, you know what, like I'm already working out. You're already going to be on the treadmill already. So your habit stack is listen to your audible of your Bible while you're walking. God does not care if you're being efficient. You know, you can,
Oh
if
my
there's
gosh.
an issue with there, but it was like almost this like release of like, it is okay to be on the treadmill and count it as your quiet time with yourself. And I just thought, and you could have seen a literal like light bulb go off over my head. Yeah. It was like, it's okay. It's fine. Like I can do this. Like I don't have to do the thing. And again, everyone's a little bit different, but I felt like that was a little bit of a permission. Like it is okay to habit stack your quiet time. But I think every day to get all those things when you only have so many hours of the day, you can check off your exercising and your spiritual time in one thing.
Wait, except when it's spending time with your husband, because I do this all the time. And he's like, if we were gonna have time together, I'm like, I'm sitting right next to you. What are you talking about? He's like, you're reading. I'm like, yeah, I'm being efficient.
I'm trying to check off 3 boxes.
God doesn't care, but your husband does.
Will does. We might need to work on that a little bit. I don't know.
That's so funny. Just not to segue into something else, but we were driving yesterday, and Brad was driving yesterday, and he's like, can you look up something? Like we were trying to look up like a place to go, and I'm looking it up on my phone. I'm trying to find it on the map, and he's subsequently like talking to me. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to look this up, or do you want to talk to me? Like which thing are what I'm supposed to be doing here right now? Can you just do both? I'm like, no, I can't. Like I can just stop this and listen to you, or whatever. Anyway,
I can
that's
do a
just
lot right. There's some things that and that's one of them too. I'm right with you, Jamie.
It's like I can do this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Not both. The last thing I want to mention is this other alternative goal setting style, which is seasonal goals. And we kind of talked about this earlier today, but it's let's not wait until December,
right,
or January to just to figure out if you hit your goal. Right? It's let's do it every 3 months, or let's do it every other month, or whatever it is. But your goal doesn't have to be, it does not have to be a whole year long.
Right.
It can be 1 week at a time, or a month at a time, or 3 months at a time. And I think that we do tend to, it's the collective we, I think people in general, when it's the new year, you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to set this goal for 2026 and this is what I'm going to do. And then you don't think about it again, or like you forget about it. And then it's the end of the year. I just saw this meme the other day that's like, it's the end of the year and I didn't lose any weight, or I'm not happy. You know, like it's just, I'm not living a happier life and I didn't lose any weight.
Yeah.
But I think it's just really important to like remind yourself, it doesn't have to be once a year. It can be every 3 months. Like just those small goals, those small wins, you know, that makes it more attainable.
Jamie, I just want to add to that, and that is find someone that is an accountability buddy, because that is so key to your goals and your success. And I don't want to get a million text messages, emails, and DMs, but find someone who is just a little bit crazy like me, because I'm the wrong person to tell you want to be held accountable to something that you might not really want to be held accountable for. I'm just going to say that. So find someone who's just a little bit crazy, craziness
Toastmasters.
to hold you accountable. And that's a way to have those check-ins on your goals. So.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. And in terms of the seasonal goal setting, as we go through this your list, Jamie, is that there's a way to kind of habit stack a little bit your goals. Like if you've got that broad goal up top, but then your little goals are seasonal. Like if again, going back to the health situation, if you want to have better health broadly, nothing specific, you can spend to keep it fresh and exciting. You can have seasonal goals with it in that. So your whole goal of being in better health doesn't fall off the wayside when you don't hit it right out of the gate.
Mhm.
Like maybe your first quarter, your goal is just to hit 10,000 steps. Okay, well, I did that consistently for 2 months now, or 3 months. And then my Q2 goal is to drink water. And then, and so it's just little by little, you add different things in seasonally. So you hit your big goal over time, but it's a little bit easier to be able to have shorter term goals that you have those little wins along the way and be able to hit the big goal at the end of the year.
Well, I don't want to leave this I don't want to leave this without knowing, and this isn't part of our outline, but I just want to know theme wise, like for you guys, and you didn't have time to think about this, just the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about this year, and what's that theme that you really want to build your goals on? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
For me, and again, like not putting a lot of thought into this, but you guys know what's happened personally in my life and the loss and whatnot. My theme for this year truly is to take advantage of every single minute of quality time that I can possibly have with my loved ones. Okay. So whether that means taking time off from work, or that means taking a minute to write someone a letter or give them a phone call or whatever. I have spent a lot of time trying to make myself successful in my career, and I feel like I've accomplished that. But I have to, the universe has told me that I need to take some time to make sure that my loved ones know that I'm here for them too, and spend some time with them. So that is without being prompted at all, except for the last minute. That's going to be the focus this year.
I love it. All right. I'm going to hold you to it.
Do we get to be included in those things?
Look, I am the gift giver. You too.
I'm so glad that I got that divorces me. Core. What do you got? What's
the two themes that come up recently is one is this whole idea of wonder, like allowing myself to wonder what if. I think as we've talked about different things that can come about, and just allowing myself to get outside the norm, think outside the box and wonder. And then also complementary to that is this whole idea of righteous risk taking, actually, if that's a big mouthful. But I was in this seminar a few months ago, and they were talking about all these different business owners that are taking risk, but it's for impact, for purpose. And so looking at how this idea of like wondering what if complements where we can be more risky with relationship, impact, purpose, and things like that. So that, again, without thinking a real coherent thought, those are the two themes that I've been chewing on over the last little while, is this idea of wonder and risk and how that can play out together.
Love it. Well,
Jessica
said mine with my mantra, and that is my theme for the year is really, I want to figure out how to have that. And I want to use the word balance, because work-life balance, there's no balance. It's not real. So maybe integration, like that passion and that fire that I have in me to be successful and career driven and all of that. I want to figure out how to have that fire for what I am made to do, just as much as I've had it for what I'm paid to do. So that's my focus for this year. But thank you, Jamie, for this wonderful conversation. That's not about New Year's resolutions, but just about goal setting. And we can use that platform and that recipe all year round.
Yeah, and it's just alternative styles, right? I mean, not everybody has a goal that they write down, that they look at, that they measure. I mean, there's all sorts of different ways to set yourself up for a great new year. There's all sorts of different ways to set yourself up for a great day. I mean, be honest, right? I'm just going to say a quick takeaway. I love the habit stacking. I hadn't thought about it in that way before, and just to have that habit and just stack another one on top and use that to create a new practice. I love the idea. I love the concept. So that was my takeaway from reading up on all of this. Do you guys have any last comments before we
I just can't
say goodbye?
Send us a message, send us a note or email or something of what you got from this episode, because I think this is really good. And I hope that everyone gets something that they can actually take away and put into action, not on Monday, but today.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I compliment all of that. I think at the end of the day, I think that we are so, as professional women, are always looking at what is the goal, what is the thing, and goals don't have to be massive. They don't have to be just insurmountable or something completely different. I can consistently lean back into those little changes that we can do. And I love the big theme that you made, Jamie, that was, let's not wait till January 1 to make it happen. Like, if you're thinking on something, start now, start whenever. If you fail, get back on it. It's just, how can we improve our lives, not just a one-hit wonder.
All right, that's it for tonight. Please, again, we love it when you share our content. We love it when you comment on our stuff. Leadlikeagirllab.com is our website. You can listen to us on all of the different podcast platforms, and we will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.